Hey guys, hope you had a good day. So for today, I've received 3 questions. I'll record them separately so that the videos are not so long. Now, remember, what's more important is what the Bible says and not what I say. So I'm going to base the answers that I will give on the Bible. Question number 1, I will divide into two, 1A and 1B, because there are two questions in it actually. It goes like this: is it lawful to go out to eat during the Sabbath, or is it lawful also to buy on a Sabbath day? In Exodus chapter 16, God tells the Israelites, or sends manna for the Israelites, and God instructs that manna will fall for 6 days, but not on the 7th day. In verse 4, they are told that from the 1st to the 5th day, they must gather a portion enough for 1 day. But on the 6th day, this is in verse 5 now, they are supposed to gather twice as much, because they were to gather for the 6th day and also for the 7th day. In verse 22, it is repeated that on the 6th day, it must be twice as much. And when you go to verse 23, it says that on the 6th day, you must cook and boil what you will eat on the 7th day. No cooking must be done on the 7th day. The cooking of the food for the 7th day was to be done on the 6th day. That's why on the 6th day they were supposed to gather twice as much. So with that, God was instructing the Israelites that no cooking was supposed to be done on the 7th day. And in fact, in verse 23 of Exodus 16, it's very clear. There are other verses, but I will just give this verse. So no cooking was supposed to be done. Is it lawful to go out to eat during the Sabbath? No, it's not. You have to prepare on Friday, and then you eat on the 7th day. We're not supposed to go out on restaurants and buy food. And I will answer why. I will give a text about that. But if you receive visitors you are not expecting, you can cook, or you can even, if you feel comfortable, by asking your neighbor for food or something, you can do that. But yes, so let's go to 1B. Is it lawful also to buy on a Sabbath day? What I'm going to do with this answer is I'm going to read verses from Nehemiah chapter 13, beginning from verse 15 going down. So the Bible says this is Nehemiah speaking after he had returned to Jerusalem after the exile, after a group of people had been sent back, and he was one of them. Verse 15. In those days saw I in Judah some treading winepress on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and ladding asses, and also wine. Now let me make it clear that the wine here doesn't necessarily mean it's fermented wine. The grape juice was also referred to as wine. And so he says some were bringing in wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. So Nehemiah says there were people selling these things on the Sabbath in Jerusalem, and he rebuked them for doing that. Verse 16. There dwelt men in Tyre also therein. There were people in Jerusalem from other cities. And he says, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. So people outside of Jerusalem came in Jerusalem, and they were selling to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Verse 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do, and profane the Sabbath day? So Nehemiah says selling and buying on the Sabbath is evil. And when you do that, you are profaning the Sabbath. Verse 18, the last verse I will read. Did not your fathers do this? And did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. So Nehemiah says the reason why we went into exile, or one of the reasons, is because we were not observing the Sabbath the way we were supposed 2. We have been selling, we've been buying, and we have not been preparing on Friday for the Sabbath. And so, because of profaning the Sabbath also, we went into exile. So, is it lawful also to buy on a Sabbath day? No, it's not. But if someone is sick and you need medicine, it is okay to buy, because the Sabbath was made for men. And it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. If someone needs medicine, you can buy for that person if it's a matter of life and death. But sometimes we exaggerate that, and we use that as an excuse not to prepare for the Sabbath, and we go out on the Sabbath and we are buying and we are selling on the Sabbath, and we should not be doing those things. I hope that helps. Let's move on to question number 2. You can send follow-up questions. I rushed through this, but I hope it's enough.